Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
Welcome to Tuesday Talks with the Conways,
I'm Courtney.
and I am Chris. We are having some technical difficulties tonight with the account, so we are only live via YouTube and Instagram tonight.
Yes.
The app decided to disconnect the Facebook account, and oh, hold
I'm
on.
sorry. Okay.
Sorry about that. We also had the stream open up in another window and it started playing the audio. But yes, so we're only live tonight via Instagram and
YouTube.
YouTube. So hey to those people on
Yes.
Facebook. We do have about 10 or 15 people that typically join us on Facebook. So sadly they'll miss out. They'll have to catch the recording.
Yeah.
But on the better note, the recording is available on YouTube,
Yes.
as well as the podcast will be available on Apple Podcasts and Spotify podcasts. So, for those of you that will end up missing this, sadly, because of our Facebook technical difficulties, they'll be able to catch us on one of the recordings. So, on that note, welcome to the new year.
Yes.
And
Happy New Year.
yes, New Year is typically when most people do some sort of New Year's resolution and try to reset. So if you didn't end the last year or the way you wanted it to, or the whole year itself didn't go the way you wanted to, now is the perfect time.
Yes.
It's not the only time you can reset. You can reset
No,
all
you
the
do
time.
not have to wait for the new year, but it is a great time.
Yes, and we happen to be in a new year.
Mhm.
So we are able to, it's an easy time to kind of reset and restart. So we'll be talking a little bit about that, but we'll also be talking about a really interesting topic. So I'll let Courtney take it away.
Yes, tonight we're going to be talking about understanding triggers. That's anything from emotional triggers, stress trigger, any sort of trigger that causes you to just kind of go off the deep end sometimes.
Mhm. Absolutely. So we'll talk about things that can trigger you, some tips on how you can manage that, and how you can rebound. We'll also just be talking about a little bit. Also, since it's the new year, we can't have a New Year podcast without talking about the ability to kind of reset
Mhm.
and get back on track. But like we mentioned, you can always reset. You don't have to wait to the new year, but the new year is a convenient time. The new year,
Yes.
new week, new month, new day, all of those are really good times to get back on track if you happen to be a little bit off track.
Yes.
Yes.
What he said.
So welcome and sorry about the delay again, and we're really really sad about the
I
Facebook
know.
people because that's probably that's that half our audience
Yeah.
really. We've got half our audience on Facebook, half our audience on Instagram, and then just few tiny people on YouTube. But YouTube is very important because YouTube is where the videos live
Uh-huh.
forever. Because Facebook changed the way that
Yeah.
the live streams they don't stay there
Mhm.
permanently. So YouTube is very important for us. So we'll go ahead and get into talking about triggers, and one of the first things we'll talk about is the emotional triggers.
Yes. These involve using food as ways to cope or like suppress your feelings. It can be stress. It can even be like boredom, loneliness. I know some people when they're alone, they just eat all like a lot because they're just lonely and bored.
The boredom is probably really really
Yes.
big. It's big for us.
That's one of my biggest triggers. Most of my binging happens at night when I'm bored.
Hmm.
I do great all day, and then come 9 or 10, if I'm up too late, it got really bad over the Christmas break when I was up to like midnight or 1.
Hmm.
By like 10 o'clock, I'm like, I want some food. And then I would eat things I shouldn't have. So boredom, definitely sadness, anger, frustration, anxiety. My anxiety works the opposite though. If I'm
Hmm.
really anxious, I don't want to eat anything. Which is also not good. Even things like low self-esteem, poor body image, there are so many different emotional triggers that can just cause you to want to cope with food. And food is not the way to cope.
And there are also other mechanisms, like Courtney mentioned. It's the opposite with her anxiety. She doesn't eat when she's
Mhm.
anxious, and that also is not healthy because after the anxiety goes away, and after that moment, that hours or a day goes by without eating very much, tends to come making up for that because
Mhm.
your body is starving, and then you have a tendency to overeat. So whether your triggers can cause you to not eat or eat too much, both are very unhealthy, and both
Yes.
can be wide swinging pendulums of unhealthiness.
Mhm. Yes, and next is also environmental cues, which part of it kind of goes with what I was mentioning with my nighttime eating. It can be just like the time of day. You're automatically snacking when you're sitting on the couch after dinner, or like me at night. I'm just sitting there watching TV and I feel like I should be doing something, and that
Mhm.
something is eating. Um, so time of day, if you want to continue.
Yes, time of day, passing certain restaurants or being around specific foods. I know for me, I used to do food delivery as kind of a
Mhm.
side gig, and I would be always popping in and out of restaurants and having the constant visions of food or the yummy smells. I know going to the mall and walking by the bakeries, cookies. Smelling those sweet treats or smelling the nice fried foods at the food
Mhm.
courts, those can be pretty interesting and strong environmental cues that might trigger you to,
Mhm.
I think I might stop and get something when maybe that's not what you had planned,
Yes.
or not something that can fit within your day.
Yes, I know when he was doing food delivery, I would go riding with him sometimes, and I'm so sorry, I gotta have some water. I have a tickle. Um, I would go riding with him sometimes, and like we would stop, like we wouldn't even be hungry, but we'd go by like Taco Bell and do a food delivery, and we would
Mhm.
suddenly want Taco Bell. I'm so sorry. But things like that, like just passing by a restaurant you like and you weren't even hungry, but you're like, ooh, that sounds good.
Mhm. Absolutely. Um, so those environmental cues also, you know, we talked about this one week, looking at ads. Like you're sitting there
Mhm.
watching a TV episode, and then all of a sudden the commercial for a really big juicy burger or whatever, it could be Reese's. Easter is a pretty big sweets commercial where
Yeah.
they talk about the Reese's eggs and the Hershey Kisses and those types of things. Well, for me, one of my favorite commercials is around the holidays when they have the little Hershey Kisses. They're little handbells,
Mhm.
and at the very end, the one goes, "Whew." Really cute commercial. But those types of things can sometimes be triggers for you to, I'm gonna go grab a Reese's, or I'm gonna go
Yeah.
grab this, or let's go out and get a really
Mhm.
juicy burger with a bunch of French fries. So it might not be the most conducive.
Yes, and sometimes it's just knowing that those more unhealthy foods are there. Just knowing you have them in the house just makes you want to eat them for no reason
Mhm.
whatsoever. That can be a trigger right there, just knowing it's there. We have some Reese's in our freezer, and if I think about it at night, I'm gonna end up in there eating some Reese's.
Mhm.
So he has to be on me about the Reese's now.
But we usually typically have a kind of out of sight, out of mind mentality. We try to keep the unhealthier things, you know, not readily visible, not necessarily hidden per se, but it's not as easy to view. But some of the things you can do to kind of combat that is, you have that craving for what you for what you want from the
Mhm.
trigger. Have a little bit of it. Have a small portion of it. You have a craving for a burger. Try to make a burger, but make it healthier and have some healthier sides. If you've got that trigger for the sweet tooth, and Courtney wants to get a Reese's cup, put a couple Reese's cup on top of a yogurt bowl. So those types of things can help you still enjoy
Yeah.
your food, because we've always mentioned multiple times that you can't deprive yourself of
No.
what you really, really want. Otherwise, you might tend to go overboard. And also, it's just not conducive for long term. We mentioned multiple times, this is not a diet;
Yep.
it's a lifestyle change, and you can't just give up those things that you love permanently. So sprinkling those in here and there is a really good way to help you enjoy those things while staying on track.
Yeah. And sometimes it's social and situational factors like social gatherings. Sometimes you eat really healthy until you go to some sort of social event.
Like a New Year's Eve party
Mhm.
or Christmas party or whatever.
Yes. Or just a lot of events sadly revolve around food.
Hmm.
Most things it's like, yeah, we're gonna have food there. And like sometimes we go to things just for the good food.
Mhm.
Like, we'll go to certain events, like his work Christmas party, and we're like, they're gonna have good food. We're going. So a lot of those social events revolve around food, and because of that, it could cause you to it could be a trigger for you to eat
Mhm.
more than you normally would because it does revolve around food.
Mhm. Absolutely. So what you can do is when you're going to those social events, whether you're hanging out with friends or you're going to bowl or you're going to a work Christmas party, try to go with having already had some food,
Mhm.
some healthier food. So I know sometimes if I'm on the way to somewhere that's going to have pastries or whatnot, I try to have a bottle of a protein drink
Yeah.
to help satiate me, so that when I get there, I'm not starving and overeating on whatever they have. If you're going to a party, make sure that you bring some healthier snacks if it's something that allows for that. But just go in with a mentality that I'm going to have a few things to enjoy, but I need to stay on track
Mhm.
so that I can meet my goals.
Yes.
Because the end of our year last year, we didn't really do that well. And we do try to preach for the holidays to try to maintain, and we weren't
And we
quite,
did not.
we weren't that successful. So in the grand scheme of things, when you're looking at the having triggers and having temptations for food, try to think back on your goals and how far you've come
Mhm.
and how far you could have gone, maybe if you were more consistent. And that's been on the top of our mind
Yeah.
lately. Where could we have been in our goal had we been more consistent?
Mhm.
And so that's kind of a learning moment. That's not something to beat yourself up over, but that definitely is a learning moment, and that is something that will help give you more motivation in the future
Mhm.
to not get off track. So to ignore some of those triggers, or if you're going to enjoy some of those treats, enjoy it in smaller moderation.
Mhm.
Have what you want with what you need. Is something that's going to be really helpful for your long-term health goals. And hey, Devin, sorry for the delayed response in the comment.
And then another trigger, our kitty cat's trying to come join us. Another trigger could be just peer pressure. Sometimes people feel like they're being helpful, but they're not. Like, I have a friend, she'll be like, "Oh, just go ahead and have it. It's just one meal," or just go ahead and it's just one Christmas tree cake. That was what it was one time. But the thing is, one can turn into more. And
Mm,
I know myself. I know when I can allow myself a treat and when it's not going to spiral, but I also know when it is going to spiral. And
mhm,
sometimes people feel like they're being helpful, but that peer pressure is
mhm.
not always
Yep.
helpful.
They'll have comments with YOLO, like you only live once, and
Mhm.
I like to come back with that response is if you live in that mentality, if you only live once, you might not live very long.
Yeah.
I choose to enjoy myself, so I do like to indulge sometimes, but I want my life to be as long as possible so I can have those longer moments of happiness. So I choose to continue on my health journey.
Mhm.
So you can't let the you only live once mentality keep you from staying on track. Granted, that mentality is still good. Sometimes you do need to enjoy yourself,
Mhm.
but in moderation and making sure you don't go too far off track. Just because we've got a goal, and our goal is to be healthy, whether that's physically, mentally, all that, the whole shebang. It's not just the physical, but it's also the mental, all those other things, and that's our goal. And we need to stay as on target as possible.
Mhm. Yes, and along with that, another one is also like when you go out, sometimes the portion sizes can be a trigger. Like, you eat more than
Hmm.
you wouldn't normally eat just because it's there in front of you.
Yep.
I like to, when I go to restaurants, if I know it's going to be a huge portion, I'll get a box immediately. Sometimes the waitresses look at me like I'm crazy, but I'll immediately be like, my food comes, and I'm like, can I get a box?
And split it in half.
Yeah, I just put half of it away because it's not in front of me. Like, sometimes something as simple as portion sizes can be that trigger that's going to cause you to go,
Hmm.
because then you feel like sometimes you feel like your whole day's ruined. Like, well, I had this a meal that was like 1,500 calories. I'm done for the day. Like, might as well just go off the deep end.
Hmm.
So something as simple as that can also be a trigger.
And we've gone to restaurants and not gotten boxes, and Courtney says, "Please take this away from me because I don't know why I'm eating it
Yeah.
because it's just right there." So that's where getting the box kind of right up for the beginning and before you even start eating, portion it out. Granted, if you are legitimately still hungry after you've had what you
Yeah.
set aside, have a little bit more. But 9 times out of 10, if you're going to a restaurant and they have big portions, you're going to keep eating if you
Yeah.
don't set it aside, even if you're not hungry. And that's something that we have to, even at home sometimes, I will have to purposefully get smaller portions, so that if I really legitimately want more, I have to get up and go get it.
Yes, and sometimes it'll surprise you how much you don't need. Like, I went to a restaurant with my job, and I got a little pizza, and it was a small pizza, but I was like, "I'm gonna put half of this away." Like, I made up my mind before I saw it that I was gonna put half of it away. So I got it, and it was small, like, it was not big, and I was like, "I'm gonna eat all of this." But I did what I set out, and I put half of it away, and I only ate half of it, and I was actually satisfied with just half, and then I had lunch for the next day. So you'd be surprised sometimes, like, if you just stop, like, after you eat that half, stop and just give yourself a few minutes, because sometimes if you continue
Mhm.
eating, you're not gonna realize you're full or
And sometimes
satisfied.
it takes a moment to catch up to. So I even tell my daughter that sometimes she'll eat what I would consider a pretty decent portion, and say, "I'm still hungry." It's like, just wait a few moments, have a couple sips of water, and if you're still hungry after that, yes, by all means, we'll get you, something else,
Mhm.
or a little extra. Um, but it's easy to eat, and then it takes a while to catch up.
Yeah, absolutely. And then there's also psychological and hormonal things that can cause triggers. Something just as simple as hormonal shifts. I know when that time, you women know that time is coming. I'm like a bottomless pit. And that right there is a trigger. And sometimes just because I know like it's about to be that time, sometimes I'm not even hungry, but I feel like I should be. I feel like I should be a bottomless pit. So sometimes just knowing certain hormonal things are coming on, you feel like you should overindulge and like you almost give yourself permission. I did that when I was pregnant. I was like, oh, I have all these pregnancy cravings. I'm going to go crazy. And then I gained like 90 pounds,
Mhm. Oh,
literally.
I'm eating for two,
Yeah.
but in all reality, to be honest, you probably don't need that much.
And
Mm.
yeah, and honestly, like when you're pregnant should probably be when you're the healthiest, but I
Mhm.
was my most unhealthy.
We were also it just took us a while to get pregnant, so
It was like we had a whole 9 months of
we were really
celebrating, like
happy and celebrating. So that's one of our goals, is to get pregnant again with our second child. And so, going into that, whenever it happens, we'll go into it with a more healthier,
mhm,
mentality. We're also going into it, trying to get there
yeah,
by making sure we stay on track
mhm,
and be as consistent as possible.
yes. And then, along with all of this, ways that you can identify and manage triggers, one way is just to keep a food journal or even an emotion journal.
Mhm.
Track what you eat, when you eat, your hunger levels when certain things are going on, whether it be, in the morning when you're bored. Track those things. Track your emotions so that if you did have a heavier eating day and you just don't know why, maybe you can just be like, "Oh, I was just really bored that day," or "I was really stressed that day." Sorry, I'm reading a comment.
Yeah, Nancy on Instagram mentioned, what tips do you have for when those urges hit, especially at night? Brushing my teeth doesn't work for me, which is that is a good tip for some.
Mhm.
I personally loathe, having something after brushing my teeth because it tastes funky. But that is good. It would be good for some.
Yes, I know for me, which Nancy, I'm a nighttime. You know me and my nighttime binges. So I know I like eating at night, so I will plan out a snack almost every night I have something. And I plan that out in my day. I make sure my day, like I can fit something in, whether it be air popped popcorn, which is a great volume food, or whether it be some Quest chips or a mini ice cream sandwich or
Or
a
good.
yogurt
Oh
bowl,
goodness, she made some fluff,
protein pudding
protein
fluff.
pudding fluff the other day, and it was divine, full of protein, and it tasted just like ice cream.
Mhm.
And even our daughter loved it. And if you plan for that, like the night before, Courtney's planning out her day with her meals, her snacks, and including her nighttime snack, and that has helped
Mhm.
significantly.
And then Shelly mentioned that she chews gum. That's a great idea. I also, if I just do not have room, I will make me a flavored water. Because then I kind of get that sweetness and that flavor of something, and it kind of helps. And if I really need something, I'll have like a flavored sparkling
Yeah,
water.
sparkling
The
water helps.
carbonation really helps too.
Mhm.
But if you just know like nighttime is just rough for you, try to plan some sort of snack for you to have at night, even if it's just a cup of air pop popcorn. That's
Or some
like,
grapes.
yeah.
Anything that volume wise is definitely going to significantly help. But man, air pop popcorn is really good. We found this trick online where you get some of those cheap, sack like brown paper bags like you would traditionally have like back when we were younger, pack lunches in. Just put some popcorn kernels in there, put some flavor seasonings in it,
Mhm.
just fold it over and microwave it in the popcorn in the microwave. Then you don't even have to have an air popper, and you're not getting those bags of popcorn with all that
Mm.
extra fat in there, and it's quite delicious.
Yes, absolutely.
Um,
I can send that to you, but I also might actually make that my recipe next week because it was good and
the
I thought
protein
I might.
fluff,
Yeah.
yes.
So he's taking a screenshot of your name so I can make sure to send that to you.
Yes, Crystal. We'll try to make sure to get that on there,
Yes.
but keep an eye. So we'll make that our recipe
I'll make
next
sure that's
week,
our recipe next week.
and so that we'll post that on our live. It will be available also on the Facebook and in Instagram for healthy, and then
Mhm.
also on the healthy blog as well. So
Yes.
that is quite delicious, and the consistency was almost exactly like ice cream.
Yeah. Like I think next time I make it, I'm gonna actually put it in one of our creamy containers and have the creamy kind of turn it and make it a little.
It was so good. What was the flavor? It was like
It was
white
white chocolate.
white chocolate.
Yeah. But along with the keeping a journal with your emotions and stuff, that way you can help differentiate between
Hmm.
physical and emotional hunger because sometimes you're not really hungry and it's just your emotions being like, oh, I'm hungry, like I'm bored, so I'm hungry. Our daughter's so bad about that.
Hmm.
The other day we went to a buffet and she ate more than I think I've ever seen the little girl eat. She was she was she loved it. But we came home and about an hour, hour and a half later, she comes in our room. She was bored and she said, Mommy, Daddy, I'm hungry.
I was like, "There's no
You are
way
not hungry.
you're
You're
hungry."
bored. And what it really when she really thought about it, she was just like, I'm bored. Like she was not hungry. So definitely like just keep up with that kind of thing.
Hmm.
Um
Absolutely.
to differentiate between physical and emotional hunger because there is such thing as emotional hunger and you're not really hungry.
Mhm. Absolutely.
And then one last thing, just we're kind of flying through the last little bit here. One last thing, develop some sort of alternative coping mechanisms.
Mhm.
I had somebody tell me recently that I need a habit, or not a
Hobby.
hobby, not a habit, a hobby. Because my hobby is shopping and eating. But sadly, my favorite hobby is baking, and
Mhm.
that doesn't really work when you're on a health journey.
Yeah.
So, anyways, the moral of all of that is to develop alternative coping mechanisms, whether you knit or color. His
I like
mom
to
loves to
fidget.
color.
Yeah.
He loves fidgets. My mom sits and does word find puzzles, like just whatever it is.
Mhm.
Just have some sort of alternative coping mechanism, especially if you do have boredom eating and boredom is your biggest trigger. Find something you can do when you're bored that helps you to not be bored.
Mhm. Exactly. So now we're going to be off to our recipe real quick. I'll let Courtney introduce the crock pot potato
Yes,
soup.
crock pot potato soup because it should be cold here. It's not.
I'm in shorts today.
It's almost 70 degrees, but it should be cold. It's winter. We need soups. So you need 1 1/4 cups of the 98, that's the can, 1 can of the 98% fat-free cream of chicken soup. 16 tablespoons, which is I think that's a full block, but I could be wrong. But 16 tablespoons of the low fat cream cheese. You can also use fat free, which I have not been able to find until recently, but recently I found it a little bit more frequently. So you can use fat free as well. It'll lower the bites and calories and stuff. 9 cups of shredded hash browns. 1 ounce, which is 1 packet of ranch seasoning, and 4 cups of chicken broth. Or if you want to up the protein a little bit, some chicken bone broth,
Hmm.
which I love. Add everything except the cream cheese into a crock pot. This is why I love this. You literally just throw everything into the crock pot. Um, Cook it on low for 4 to 6 hours. Dice the cream cheese and add it to the crock pot and let it cook for another 20 to 30 minutes until the cream cheese is melted. Serve with your favorite toppings. I like to add bacon to it for a little bit more protein. You can also add chicken to this if you do want some sort of protein in your potato soup. But It's good. Any toppings or adding anything will add more bites, calories, net carbs, all the fun things. Um, this is between 4 and 6 bites, depending on the plan. 180 calories, 21.8 net carbs. It's not much protein, 5.4 grams protein, but you know us, we're going to add cottage cheese to ours. It'll have more protein. But we just love potato soup, and now I want to make this.
And this is nice, cozy, warm for those chilly or supposedly chilly
It's
nights.
supposed to be chilly nights, unlike what we're having here with our 70-degree weather.
Yes. Well, we thank you so much for joining us this week in our new year. And so we are also doing a reset for ourselves. So thank you for coming along on this journey with us. And we will see you next week. And hopefully Facebook will be back up and running for those that want to watch this on Facebook. For those of you that missed it and are catching the recording, we're sorry.
I know.
It normally warns us when it's going to kick us off Facebook. But we hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. And we will see you next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.